Let me start with a small question. If passive income was so easy as the internet puts it out to be, why is everyone going to the office every Monday morning? You must have seen those videos. Earn 1 lakh rupees every month. Earn while you are sleeping. Just buy this course and relax. The job is done. Well, if that was true, half the country must have been sleeping by now, making good passive income by just taking that course or watching that small reel of making lakhs with zero efforts. Well, actually, that's not the case. So today, let's honestly talk about what is passive income. How do you generate passive income? What all efforts actually go into creating a passive income structure? What works? What doesn't? But one opportunity many people are actually missing, but it has huge potential. So watch the video till the very end. Before we move ahead, one important thing. If you want to be a successful and a profitable Airbnbpreneur, book a one-on-one consultancy call with our team. Link is below in the description. Now, let's continue the video. First, let us understand the basics. Well, passive income doesn't mean passive work. You don't do anything and you get income. Well, you're wrong. Well, it actually means you create a system, a SOP, and a set in place, and with minimum daily effort, it brings you a good cash flow day after day, months after months. Think of it like planting a tree. Well, you don't plant a tree in the morning and expect the fruits in the evening, right? You nurture the tree. You take care of the tree. There will be seasons, there will be time period, gestation period. Slowly the tree starts growing, you nurture it, care for it, protect it from nature, protect it from, wild animals or even humans for that sake. And slowly it grows into a full-fledged tree and starts giving you fruit season after season. And you enjoy it in a sustainable manner. You can't cut a tree and get all the fruits. You take some fruits, you leave some, because the next season you will be again reaping in the benefits of those fruits. Similar is the work with your passive income or your business. You create an asset, you build a system, you build your business like a child. It grows, you nurture it, you take care, and when it grows, it gives you sustainable income day after day, month after month. Now let's focus on who are actually looking at passive income. So we did a study, and basically there are 3 categories of people. The first being young professionals in their 20s. They just started their jobs. They have minimum income, but they have great aspirations. So they think the salary is not enough to create wealth. Let's find some other things to do. They have the time and energy to do that. Well, they are the first categories. Then the second category is somebody in their mid job. They've just crossed that 5-6 years of their working. Now they're settled. Now they've started making real money. They got promotions, so they're thinking of buying an apartment. They are the persons who have an EMI, and they're thinking, how do I earn from the asset I have created for the asset for which I'm paying the EMI? How can I reduce that burden of EMI? The second persons who are trying to create wealth. And then they're thinking, can my money actually work for me to make more money? Well, it can. Let's focus on the third category now. The third category is somebody in late 40s or beyond that. Probably they are on the verge of retiring, or they are already created assets. And now they are thinking how these assets will be actually protected. They want to protect the assets they have created, but at the same time they want to generate a cash flow, a sustainable income, because that income will support their lifestyles in the semi-retirement or the retirement time which they're going to take. Well, all of them are important and all are actually thinking the right direction. But now let's focus which assets can actually create passive income for us. I don't say that I'm a great financial planner or advisor. I'm just a normal layman trying to find ways of creating passive income for me. And whatever I've learned, I'm sharing with you. So first thing I found out is a good source of creating your wealth is through your financial instruments. Financial instruments can be like mutual funds, stocks, and bonds and other stuff, which you invest and you wait for them to grow, or they provide you regular income by appreciation and by the dividends you get from them. But there's a catch. There's a limitation to that because it requires a lot of skills and good financial skills to actually understand the concept of right time of investment, right buying and right selling. So that is why mutual funds came in. Mutual funds are actually handled by the mutual fund advisors. So you believe them and you put your money in mutual funds. Stocks are a bit risky. You need to study. Many of you might be doing it and making good returns, but I'm a layman. I don't understand it quite well. So I'm a mutual fund investor. The second option is you, while working, you developed a certain kind of skill. So you use that skill, you lend that skill, or you use that skill to make money. Like we are doing right now. We at the Homestay Academy, we actually spend a lot of time, effort, and we keep doing researching the short-term rental market, the Airbnb business, and we provide that consultancy to a lot of people across India now. So similarly, a carpenter, a painter, or a consultant, you might be a consultant to an IT firm, you might be a consultant to an architecture firm, whatever your forte is, you provide consultancy, you exchange your skills for the money. So that is also a good system. Like teachers, you do online courses, you do consultancy programs and a lot of things. You make good money. There are a lot of consultants right now floating all around LinkedIn, YouTube, everywhere. And the third, very, very basic, and it's like a customary, a traditional, and actually people have a lot of faith in, we Indians particularly, is in real estate. You invest in real estate, you make income by the variation of cost. The property appreciates, you sell the property, make the differential money, or you buy a property and you rent it out, and then there's a regular cash flow in terms of long-term rentals. Or many people commercially rent out a shop or an apartment or even a godown. Nowadays big warehouses are being lent at a very good price. But something interesting has been happening in India and across the world in the last 10 to 12 years. Your property is now your cash flow machine. And how is that? That is short term rental, homestay business, or Airbnb, as you call it. So today our focus will be how to make your property, your asset, into a cash flow machine by creating systems and generating passive income day in and day out, month after month, day after day, year after year. But not so easy. Passive income, yes, but passive work, no. Full-time work, full-time systems. Short-term rentals. Well, simply put, instead of renting your house for 1 year or 2 year or whatever lease you've decided, now people are actually renting their house for 1 night, 2 night, 3 night, 4 nights, short-term rentals, and making much more money than what they were making in long-term rentals. It could be 1.5x, 2x, 3x, depends on location, depends on what quality of services you're offering, and depends on a lot of systems, skills, and the way you deal with the property, the way you deal with the customers. A lot of effort, time, techniques are involved. And why is this happening? Why are short-term renters, why are people, now renting property for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days? Aren't there hotels for that? Aren't there dharamshalas and a lot of other stay options already flooded in the market? Well, travel is actually exploding, my friend. Everybody now has a travel itinerary built in, at least in the annual schedule. People are working so hard in Bangalore, Pune, Gurgaon, Delhi. You might be one of those, and you always plan कि भाई चलते हैं पहाड़ों पे, let's move out. So yes, similarly families, similarly solo travelers, similarly corporate business travel, everything has exploded. And everybody is looking for something different, something experiential. Hotel, you have a set kind of systems. Well, they're very good actually, because you enter into a system, you know what you expected from the system. You expect a good room service, good food delivered in your room, or a certain kind of arrangement which you are used to, you're comfortable with. Great. But sometimes people want to experiment. They want more space, more freedom, more privacy, and actually a place to cook for themselves. Enjoy a little bit of cooking here and there. And that is where experiential stays are actually exploding. Airbnb or short term rentals or homestays are becoming a great option for people who are looking for experiential stays away from the workspace, away from places, in a place where they are with the families, need that connection, need that calm. And it's not only about excursions or touristry travel. Now Airbnbs are actually being preferred by corporate travelers, because you see, in the same kind of money, you're getting an extra more space. You get a one studio apartment, you get a 1 BHK apartment for yourself, so you have a bedroom for yourself, you have your own personal washroom, then there's a living room, and then there's a kitchen. You want to make your own chai, you want to make a Maggie in the evening, or you want to sit around and have some kind of a get together with friends. The 1 BHK suits just perfect for you, rather than having everybody inside your room and kind of play around with your privacy. Now you have a separate living room, you enjoy there, you have a separate washroom, everything, and your bedroom is still private. So people are opting for that kind of experiential stays, and Airbnb short term renters are actually solving this problem. And yes, when problems are being solved, there are the problem solvers. Who is that? The Airbnb-preneurs. That is again a great option which has come up. Airbnb-preneurs or short-term rental owners of the property, who are actually solving this problem for people and making money out of it. Yes, today we are talking about Airbnb business, homestay business, short-term rental business, and how effective is that for you who's going to start, who has a certain kind of property, who wants to you actually save the EMI and make some money, make your property as a cash flow machine. This video is right for you. And you're not alone, my friend. There are so many examples. Just see around you. Many of your colleagues are actually homestay owners now. They are Airbnb-preneurs, they are Airbnb hosts. They have one room, they have 1 BHK apartment, 2 BHK, or a beautiful villa in the mountains, their family heirloom, which was actually abandoned. They have remodified it. And now that property is a cash flow machine for them. Talk about Gary in Jaipur. He has a 1 BHK. We are supporting him, and he is getting 98% bookings on his Airbnb day after day, only on the Airbnb platform. Talk about Prithvi. Prithvi had 4 properties: 1 BHK, 2 BHK, 3 BHK, and another 1 BHK, which he was actually long-term renting. Then the idea of Airbnb kicked in. So in Hyderabad, he researched about Airbnb, came across our channel, consulted us, and he removed one of his 1 BHKs from long-term rentals to short-term rentals, and now all his 4 properties are on the Airbnb platform. And it's been just 8 months. Good money being made, but it's not only about money, my friend. It's also about, everybody wants to be entrepreneur now. You want to do a startup, you want to prove yourself, you want to increase your status in the society, prove that yes, I'm worth it. I know what to do. I know how to take care of my family and my life. And this is providing that confidence without moving out from the comfort of your home, without even leaving your job. That is the beauty of running a short-term rental business or an Airbnb business. When Gary can do it, Prithviji can do it, KVG can do it, why not you? And yes, there are so many examples. Currently, the Homestay Academy is actually supporting more than 100 co-hosts across India. They are making good money. It's time now you decide about making good money day after day from the Airbnb business. Well, I understood the concept. Now I'm excited. I want to learn about it. I have a 2 BHK. How do I Airbnb it? Well, it's simple. First of all, you furnish the property. Imagine, if you are going to a short-term stay, what all amenities will you require? Similar amenities should be put into your place. AC in the bedroom if it's a warm place, and a fan, of course, a bed, a study table, a geyser in the washroom, then the living room with sofa, all. So that TV for that sake, a lot of things are there. If you want consultancy on that, you can always connect with the Homestay Academy on one-on-one video consultancy. We can help you out, churn out the whole concept of Airbnb from A to Z, everything. We have a complete solution for that. Having said that, you furnish your 2 BHK just right. There's a bit of then there is licensing. You take a homestay license from your tourism department. Depending on your state, there are various requirements, but easy to get. If you own the property, everything is sorted, very easy to get the license. And then the third thing, now you have to be visible on Airbnb and other online travel agencies. There's so many of them. So list your property on Airbnb or other platforms, and then people see it when they're visiting your place. Your property becomes visible, people like it, book it, review it, and slowly people start coming in. You gain various badges, guest favorite, good reviews, and you become guest favorite people. The ball starts moving. But is it so easy? Well, everything is easy when you look at it at that perspective, but when actually you enter, there are a lot of things to do. Listing is easy on Airbnb, but becoming visible, that's the difficult part. How is your property being visible to people, being more engaging, being bookable? Well, that is where our product at the Homestay Academy, which is called VEB, comes handy to a lot of people. See, you can list your property, but it becomes dead because nobody's looking. There are so many properties, and when you search for a place like Noida, for Delhi, Gurgaon, Mumbai, so many properties on Airbnb. How will people fall on your property? Well, there has to be a USP. It should be high VB score property. So a lot of work goes into creating a good VB score property. And when your property's VB score is high, Airbnb AI puts it on the page one. And once you're page one, you're more visible. The listing is designed in such a way that it is more engaging, becomes more bookable. Well, and then follows the other steps. How do you treat your customers? How do you converse with them? How do you actually create that sense of belonging for the people, that human element, that touch? There is where training comes in. Airbnb business is actually a mini hospitality business. It's passive income. Well, actually, let's get out of this word of passive income. It is real income for many people. And actually, data shows women are actually 35% of the successful hosts on Airbnb in India. So if you're a woman, don't worry, you are at the right path. A lot of women like you are actually running successful Airbnbs in India, and you could be the next woman. And if you are anybody, you could be the 20s guy, you could be the EMI guy, or you could be someone who is looking at retirement. This could make a lot of money. But yes, there has to be system, there has to be procedure, there has to be a proper SOP setup. You need to train your staff, you need to train yourself, you need the art of communication, you need good reviews, you need those good badges like guest favorite, superhost, and then your listing, not your property, your listing on Airbnb becomes an asset which gives you money day after day, month after month, and the systems actually work for you. It becomes a source of passive or real-time income. Many of our hosts are actually who started with 1 unit are now running 10 units, but their systems are sorted. Technicalities are sorted, analytics, AI, everything well understood, and then they are making good money month after month. Having said that, the picture is not so rosy. There has to be a proper, alignment in terms of expectations. Yes, you could take it as passive income. Real hard work is required. You have to work hard. There might be seasonal variations. Sometimes your property would be 100% occupied. Some seasons it might be not even 20% occupied. So the cyclic thing with tourism goes, and with the current situation, geopolitical situation, you call it, anything can happen at any time, and tourism becomes the most affected, play in that, because travel stops. And if somebody is traveling for fun, for luxury, for experience, they might differ in terms of when there is any uncertainty, because it's a luxury, right? So any uncertainty, tourism is the first thing to be stopped. People say, yeah, we'll do it later. Let's focus on the real efforts first. Let's have food first. Let's bring that LPG surrender first. Then we can talk about traveling. So similar is with tourism. So you have to have clear expectations. At the same time, this is making real money for a lot of people. We have so many examples in our own The Homestay Academy setup where we are assisting more than 100 primary hosts across India. Somebody who knew nothing about Airbnb, somebody who was actually running Airbnb since last 10 years but never got a single booking on Airbnb platform, now has consistent Airbnb bookings, is making good money. I can give you so many examples, and a lot of people who are actually now looking at it as a business point of view, as a real income source. They're also joining the Homestay Academy. They're taking our consultancy calls, and we are actually creating that difference. Having said that, we are proud to share that we've made a revenue of more than 1.5 crores, our primary hosts, in the last 1 year. And the last month, we made actually more than 12 lakh revenue for our hosts across India. So all these figures but again, the bottom line is asset is good, but that asset has to be backed with system, and it becomes a cash flow machine for you. And yes, if this video has excited you and you want to have a one-on-one video call with us, don't worry, it is free of cost. All you need to do is click on the link below, book a one-on-one 10 minutes video call with our experts. And yes, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Thanks for watching.